Why do we keep blaming refs for losses? Teams have chances to win and don't ice them. It's a good point.
That's what Andrew Webster says. That's what the Warriors coach repeatedly goes to. And Jim says, hi, guys, you can tell Graham Annesley was a politician. Well, he was. Absolutely he was. But I'm not going to criticise Graham Annesley at these weekly football briefings. I actually find them quite informative, helpful in your role as a commentator.
I'm with you, Matty.
Yeah, I like the addition of the Monday briefing, especially when he's willing to own mistakes. They don't generally avoid their errors. They illuminate them. They say, we got it wrong.
Yeah.
And we're going to be better.
And you can learn something off it. Like when there's an explanation of why or why not things have happened, you can pick up things that and the way that they look at things. Of course, when he has to come out and say, we got it wrong, well, there's no way around that. Like, at least he does that. At least I don't know if it does anyone any favours, but I don't watch it for that. Like, that part of it doesn't really mean much to me when he apologises for getting it wrong. I just like hearing the explanations of why they went one way or the other.
Greg from Gundy. Boys, I was born in Gundagai. I absolutely love the Olympics. My favourite event is the 100-metre sprint, as I used to be a handy sprinter in my day, winning lots of titles down the Riverina way. Well done, Greg. I think many people have the 100-metre sprints, the finals, as their blue riband Olympic events.
Yeah, it's good. I like all the athletics. The midair tackle was something that I wanted to talk about because it popped up in the Manly Cowboys game, Matty. And it was Jason Saab chasing a kick, a crossfield kick. Murray Taulagi was the Cowboys winger. They both went up for the ball. And when they slowed it down, Jason Saab had eyes for the ball only.
He was Manly kicking towards the Cowboys.
Correct.
Taulagi, the would-be catcher for the North Queensland side.
The defensive side. Taulagi, of course, off a short run. Jason Saab had the momentum. They both leap high in the air. Neither catches the ball, but Taulagi makes contact with it. So it comes off Taulagi, bounces back into Ruben Garrick's hands. Ruben Garrick scores a try. They go upstairs, no try. Then they say tackled in midair, which was rubbish. The tackle in midair rule has gone so far that way that it doesn't represent why the rule was brought in the first place. The rule was brought in because players' legs were being taken from under them while they were in the air. If you are contesting a ball, if you don't catch it, you will get penalised. Now, I find that impossible to come to terms with.
Because what's the extension of that? Coaches saying to teams, don't contest the kick because you might get penalised if you don't catch it.
That is exactly right. Now, Jason Saab did not tackle Murray Taulagi. The ball can only be in one spot. Both went for the ball. Because Jason Saab had momentum go his way, he finishes over the top of Murray Taulagi, but he didn't tackle him. They collide in midair, going for the ball. It's not a midair tackle. Should have been tried to Manly. Should have. But the midair tackle, and I'm not blaming, A side, or the midair tackle has to be looked at. And you got to, when you get a chance to look at it in the bunker, you go, well, that's a collision. Both players attempting to catch the ball. Flip side, only 2 sets later, up the other end of the field, Tommy Talau takes a great catch above his hands. Caulfield goes up for it with him as well. But Caulfield pulls him down on his way down. Now, whether Felt was going for the ball or making a tackle, but because Tommy caught it, nothing was done about it.
Which sounds to me more like a mid-air tackle because one player has the ball in the air and the other player has pulled him down.
Because I don't think Caulfield really wasn't going for the ball. He didn't get there in time. Tommy Talau took a great take and then Caulfield got involved. But the mid-air tackle is a part of the game that I think they need to look at.
Fine up, Brandy. I like this. You need to ring Graham Annesley today and get it off your chest. Have a chat. Get it out there and see where it goes. Act 772 is into me again, Brandy. Laughable, Matty. He owns it in reference to my comments regarding Graham Annesley. What does that mean? Happens again the following week with more owning but no action towards fixing it. Absolutely pointless. Well,
but hang on. How do you fix it? You can't fix it. How do you fix a decision made by a human? You can't
How do you
fix it.
Human error? You just train them as they do, and you have a debrief, and you make it transparent like they do, and they are doing everything they can to fix it. And I find the weekly football briefings important. I find them informative. I like, in my job as a rugby league broadcaster to be able to see something in the game
Yep.
and then have it explained to me by Graham Annesley, even if it's a mistake for which he has no answer, then I think, okay, well, I read it like he's seeing it. We can move on now and hopefully won't have that mistake again. I'm not about to criticise the weekly football briefings just because they're owning their errors. That's part and parcel of what Graham's doing.
Well, you can't brush over so the biggest error of the weekend was the Jamin Salmon Tamari Martin incident.
Absolutely.
That was the biggest error.
One of the biggest errors of the season.
So you have to deal with it. And you have to say, well, we got it wrong.
And the reason we got it wrong was we were so fixed looking at whether it was high contact, we actually missed whether it was late. Now, it's a bad error, and I reckon everyone in the refereeing ranks would agree with that. But it's a human error.
We've had 50 of them this year. We've had countless incidents and decisions.
And it's frustrating, but it is what it is.
That the bunker has made a decision, and yet all of us at home are going, no, that's wrong. That's different. Or whether we're in commentary or whether we're sitting at home watching, where the majority of people go and they see it differently to how the bunker has done. That has happened many, many times this year. You can't fix those problems. They are just that is human error, and it will always happen.
And what's the alternative if Graham doesn't have a weekly football briefing, just lets it go and lets people talk about how did they miss that, what happened there, on it goes. Well, at least now we know what the reason was, as bad as that is.
See, we both like it. Is it,
but we're not going to sway everybody.
No.
We're not going to sway everybody.
No. There's plenty of text coming in. Morning, boys. If I was Madge, I wouldn't be taking Latrell. It just disappeared.
So while we find our way through the Edgewater Homes text line,
772 says, Brandy, you've just proved my point over 50 times this year. We'll agree to disagree. No problems, boys. Move on. Yep, well, that's an exaggeration. I'm just throwing up. It has happened a number of times this year where all of us sitting, watching the game, are disagreeing with what the bunker is coming up with. I think you're confusing the issue by calling it human error. People have been doing the job, are obviously not up to it, need to be replaced. In normal work life, human error is only accepted as an excuse so many times. In normal work life, it's not a normal job. Like, you can't compare the bunker to human error happens, and he can't explain it. What we're saying is Graham Annesley can't explain human error, and so we've got the wrong people in there. Who are we putting in there? Who's going in there if these blokes aren't doing it? They're trained to do it. They work at it. These blokes do it every day. They train to do it. I don't know how we fix the problem. And Graham Annesley gets out the front and goes, well, I can't explain it. Well, you can't. How can you explain human error? You can't.
Well, 513 and the previous text from Max772. Thank you for being involved this morning. Thank you for jumping on the Edgewater Homes text line and weighing into this discussion after it was a rough weekend for the officials. It was a rough weekend when you look at
They've had a few rough weekends, haven't they?
They have,
yeah.
But this one was particularly so when you roll in the missed tackle count.
Yep.
Calling for but signalling the last and therefore the Sharks kick. So anyway, let's hope that it's onwards and upwards for the officials in the run to the finals as games become increasingly important. We've got a shortened round this weekend.
Yep.
Brandy, starting Thursday night, Dolphins against South Sydney. So news today, Latrell Mitchell, will he play again this season for the Rabbitohs? They need to win, all bar two of their remaining games, and without Latrell, that's going to be very, very difficult.
It will, Matty. So yeah, if Latrell doesn't play, South, they might win some matches as we run into the finals, but I don't think they'll make a run, which they need to do. You're right. I think they needed to win 7 out of 9. They've had their 3 buys. So the Sharks take on the Tigers on Friday night.
Nico Hines. Well, definitely without Nico Hines, but
yes.
but maybe he might not play again this season. And the Sharkies are given to beat the Tigers this Friday night.
Well, you know what? When we're talking about the Sharks, and we're going to take a break, so we might do that after the break. I think we've got to get to a break, but talk about the Sharks and what's happened to the Sharks over the last 2 months with their tough run that they had. They had a 5-week period after going pretty good, but playing no one. I think they won 9 of their first 10, but they were against sides that weren't sitting in the top 4 or top 6. Then they had some tough ones. But we'll go to a break. We'll come back and we'll have a look at just the Sharks' last couple of months and their chances of do they stay in the top 4 or Do they fall out of the top 4?
We'll see, because after that, we've got Gold Coast Para Saturday, Brisbane St George Illawarra, Manly against Newcastle to complete the shortened round. We are here thanks to Bryden's Lawyers. If you're unable to work due to injury or illness, contact Bryden's. Line, Brandy, one here from 787. Thanks for your text. It's incompetencies, not human error. Well, I would say that all the referees are competent. The man who made the human error that we've been talking about in terms of the Warriors game against Canterbury has been lauded as controlling one of the great grand finals and delivering one of the great refereeing performances. So you don't do that if you're incompetent. You don't go from being a highly competent referee in a grand final to being incompetent half a season down the track. It's just an error as he went through the process.
Yeah. Morning, Brandy and Maddie. Have you actually been in the bunker, Brandy? Do they how do they actually get to a decision? And is there more than one person making the call? They do have 2 people in the bunker, don't they? Or
yes.
Do they have more? Or is there only 2?
Well, two people making the
Marcel,
decision.
I haven't been in the bunker, no. And it's right next door to
Everleigh. It's in
Street.
Redfern,
Yeah,
where we do a bit of work, where we do next door. And I've been in there, and it's big.
Yep.
Is like a
Is it as big as
NASA
this? Bigger than
site.
this?
Bigger than our
this studio?
yes. Yep. And there are monitors. There are all sorts of. It's
They've got different angles. They can access all the angles, relevant angles, can't they? They're not waiting on the director to provide them anymore. Remember, they used to have. Can I have a look at that angle? Okay, no, better show me the front on. They can access it themselves.
And there's an official and a former player there to guide and bounce off. So the 2 of them, the voice you hear is the official.
That makes it even
they're
worse.
Being guided by others beside them and around them.
So
there's an open invitation for any commentator to go in there and watch the process and see how it works. Having bumped into the referees, they said you're more than welcome to come in when you don't have a game and just see how we go about our business. So Brandy, there's your invite.
Okay.
Go and have a look if you so choose. One here from
it's not
Mark.
doing it for me, Matty.
Muscle. A few more appearances, you'll trigger an extension and an upgrade. Well, Mark, I tell you what, I'm very happy, very, very happy just to be a ring-in every now and then, because the 3:30 alarms, Brandy, brutal.
It is brutal. If I work in export sales and needing to purchase US dollars, I'm speculating on the dollar and the sale itself. It's expected based on my experience and training, I'll make the right decision. My employer will, it's a long text. My employer will only accept me making a mistake so many times. I won't keep my job if I get it wrong a couple of times, even if it was just human error. Not picking up the late shot is not human error. That is not following the correct processes as set out by your employer. A referee on the field making mistakes, people can wear as human error. A person sitting in a room with millions of dollars of technology around them and supporting them with extensive training and support, human error, ? It potentially costs the Warriors a final spot and ultimately millions of dollars. Players get fined or banned for making mistakes on the field. Too many, they get sacked. If players make mistakes, they get sacked.
Brad,
that's a very good text.
A lot of thought going into that. Great text, Brad. We better give Brad, I reckon, a Signet Boost power bank. It'll keep your phone, tablet and earbuds powered 24/7. Signet Boost power bank coming your way, Brad. We want to get to some callers on the Great Southern Bank open line, 1300 01 1170. Let's bring in a man called the Reptile.
Reptile, g'day.
G'day, Shaggers. How are you?
Going good, mate. Where are you? You're on the road. Heading where?
Heading where? Heading to Kingsgrove to work on the M5.
Good, man. Okay. What do you got for us?
Okay, let's have a talk to the sad sack freckles carrying on about the bunker the last 3 days. Oh, they got one wrong. Get over it, you bunch of gooses. Look, they got the Josh Papali'i one right. You'd be whinging a million times worse if we got rid of the bunker and then how many times the referee calls no try and it was a try. Josh Papali'i, case in point, get over it. Put down your big bucket of chicken, hit a gym, you gooses, and stop whinging.
Yeah,
good.
These people who go outside and go, oh, it's too hot. And then winter go, it's too cold. You're never happy. Get over it.
So you're right, Reptile. So if the bunker all of a sudden isn't there, then we don't have, we might not have this sort of, blow up when one decision is wrong. There'd be many, many decisions that in hindsight got proven incorrect. Imagine the flare-ups then.
Good on you, Reptile.
Oh, that's huge.
Hey, how's the traffic on the M4, Reptile? Just give us a quick update on the M4 traffic.
Oh, it's the M5.
M5.
Okay.
And it's a little bit slow past Henry Lawson Drive. It's just gone a little. It was nice and flowing. Now it's just we're doing about.
You're banking up
25
already.
here now.
Okay. Good stuff, Reptile. Good to hear from you, mate. So,
See you, boys.
So Reptile's right. Like, Brad's text was very good, and parts of that absolutely spot on.
That's why blokes can sit around a table and argue about this for hours, Brandy, because they're good points, right? But at the end of the day, when you boil it all down, can you imagine modern-day rugby league without the bunker?
No, couldn't operate. You could not. You couldn't. Well, you certainly couldn't handle the try-scoring situations.
No.
There's no way. You don't know. There's guessing going on everywhere about tries until we look at the bunker, until we get the replay of it and the bunker has a look at it. We don't know whether someone scored or not.
So can you imagine if you blew up the bunker? It'll be a very, very messy game. You're listening to Brekkie with Vossi and Brandy this Tuesday morning at 7:52. We're back with more after this.